In So Meta Quiet News.
Why so quiet time?
Submitted by He Would Have Been Caught Faster in Jomalia.
Yeah. Would have. Because he's fucked up.
Damn, that was intense. Let's do it.
A man has been caught and arrested after his daughter's DNA tied him to the brutal sex killing of a teenage girl from more than 30 years ago.
What the fuck? So the dad killed the daughter.
The dad did not kill his daughter, but he killed someone else's daughter.
Okay, so his daughter's DNA tied her father to another killing.
A sex killing from 30 years ago.
Explain the story,
Because the daughter's DNA is already different from the dad's DNA.
Right. So,
What the hell?
so his name is Christopher, and he is currently
Lucifer.
Christopher.
Lucifer.
Oh, he has some really deep set bags.
He looks like a raccoon and Robert De Niro had a baby.
And so he's currently 64 years old.
Let that one ride out.
That was perfect.
Raccoon and Robert De Niro.
Raccoon De Niro.
Raccoon Nero.
And this was unfortunately the victim.
Her shirt is badass though. Where does this take place?
Looks like the UK or something.
Placed in England.
Hey, what? How'd you assume that
The
from
background and her shirt and her the fairness of her.
Because everyone in
Oh, okay.
England always be living in castles and shit.
Bunch of uncultured fucks here.
Okay, so the murderer's name is Christopher, and the victim's name is Melanie.
Okay.
Melanie.
One night, Melanie was dropped off at a club in England by her mom, and she was done with the club and she decided to walk back home, which is only half a mile away.
So wait, her mom dropped her off at the club, like a disco dance?
Probably
Yeah.
a discotheque.
Discoteca.
So mom dropped her off there, and then after she was done like partying, then she decided to go home. She parted ways with her boyfriend and she started walking home, which is only, again, half a mile away.
Boy should have walked her home? What kind of bullshit is that? It's half a mile away. Walk your fucking woman
Yes,
home.
please take care
There's a
of
lot
her.
of rapists out there in this world.
So from what I know, witnesses have seen this man follow her, saying that he was about like maybe 50 feet away from her, but on the opposite end of the street. They said that she was accompanied by a man that was across the street, is what they're saying, right? And so the morning comes, the mom freaks out because
Nobody
of her daughters. And the dad says to calm down, maybe she just stayed at a friend's house because it was too late, right? Later on, like, they didn't hear a call, but they did hear a police car driving through the neighborhood calling out the name Melanie, like through their speakerphone. Melanie, right? Immediately when the mom heard that, she ran outside, she tapped on like the police car door, like, hey, like that's my daughter, like she went missing, like she hasn't come home, like she went out late last night. And immediately the police officer let her in the car, and then they were just like circling around the neighborhood.
How did the police know before the mom?
So, what happened is that early in the morning, like about like 5:30 in the morning, these milkmen, a father and a son, they saw a dead body in a cul-de-sac.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, so if you don't know what a cul-de-sac is, it's basically a neighborhood that has no outlets.
It's like a dead end.
It's like a dead end street. So they found this woman's body in a cul-de-sac, and they immediately called the police. The police took a look and they investigated, and on her keychain, like, it had her name on it. So from that name, that's when the police decided to call out the name Melanie in hopes to find somebody in connection with that.
But then what happened once the mom said, that's my daughter? The cop didn't say, like, oh, we found this keychain with a dead body? Or, like, what happened?
I mean, they filled them in on what happened to her daughter. And
Oh, okay, so they didn't continue to circle around.
No, she's saying that they found something on Melanie's body with her name on it, so the cops started driving around saying her name in hopes that maybe the mom or her sister, someone would hear to say, hey, I know that name.
Yeah, so they filled her in, but they were driving around to search for more clues.
Okay, that's the part that I was like, that doesn't add up.
Because she's dead already,
Yeah.
so.
I never heard of that method, cops calling out.
Maybe it's a small town.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like cobblestone streets and shit.
Yeah, based off of the picture with the...
We're going to find your daughter.
So this was like 30 years ago too, so it's not exactly like.
Yeah.
30 years ago?
Yeah, this happened so this took place in 1984.
I'm imagining like the British police with the black helmets like this and a baton. Melanie, where are you?
There is an old photo that shows this.
Art is just on.
That's what I'm imagining. Oh. And then there's Raccoon Nero on the back. With the bushy tail.
And that's Melanie, the picture of her.
Yes.
They got a big ass badge on that hat.
They do. Trying to look at the reflection of your teeth.
Pretty much after they discovered her body and they're investigating into it, they had certain leads, but all of them led to a dead end, and it just eventually became a cold case because they couldn't find who murdered her.
So what the hell?
Led to a cul-de-sac.
So as time went by, Christopher already had his own family.
He just went off and
so
let go of his rape days.
he was married once, he had a daughter, then he divorced in his first marriage, and then he got married again, and he had another daughter. And from that family, he just lived with them peacefully for about 30 years.
That's crazy. Like, that's just, he just gave up his rape life.
What they found on her body was there was 26 stab wounds.
Oh, shit.
All over her body. And then he raped her and then...
And then he raped her?
Yeah, so years later, one of his daughters actually got in trouble for a domestic dispute. And they decided to just, you know, like check her in, and they take her blood work and they were testing her DNA. And as like technology over the years grew, they did put the DNA of Christopher semen from that cold case into the police data bank. So they had evidence that like, okay, so this man has this particular DNA, like we're just gonna put it in there and hopefully something will come up, right?
Damn,
So-
30, wait, so they had 30-year-old semen? Or was it just,
Yeah,
they ran a DNA and they just saved it?
Yeah, they just saved it, and then when technology advanced, like they just still continued to input the information into
smart.
the system. So that by the time the daughter got caught for something completely unrelated to her dad, but for like a domestic dispute that she had with her boyfriend, they took a DNA swab of her, and then her DNA was very similar to the DNA that was 30 years ago that they had on
So
record.
they go, wait a minute, but she's not a man. And that was semen.
So is that how DNA works? Because everybody's got different DNA, but they're similar within like.
Yeah, well, like to your parents, it's you match
genetic
the
markers.
most. Yeah.
As long as there's enough like percentage-wise of like a match with somebody, then there's grounds to like bring your family members in. We're gonna like
Come in this cup.
Yeah.
Well, more than likely, it's like, so you probably share
keep
50% of DNA with your mom and 50% with your dad. So in this case, she probably had 50% similarity with this guy's semen. So they're like, okay, this is like a direct family member. Probably isn't even a cousin. Probably is either a brother or sister.
Because
or
it was 30 years ago, he's probably got to be older, aka the same age as your father.
Good job, cops. So then they got him. How did they get that motherfucking guy?
So after they processed that DNA, a month later, investigators actually approached Christopher at his workplace and like, hey, can we just get a DNA sample from you? And he voluntarily did it.
Of course.
It's like 30 years later.
He forgot he raped and killed
He
someone.
let go of his rape days.
A month later, they got the test results and said that it is positive that this man was the one who killed Melanie 30 years ago.
Holy shit.
As soon as the police officers got the results, that's when they called Melanie's family and said, hey, we found the person that killed your daughter.
Fuck, imagine that phone conversation.
30 minutes. I mean, not 30 minutes. 30 years later.
She's in her 80s. Yeah, the mom.
Well, at least she can die peacefully knowing like the closure.
Because like Melanie's sister, she was saying how like every man she saw on the street, she's like, are you the one that killed my sister?
Yeah.
Every guy she dated is like, are you the one that killed my sister? Like she had such a skewed perspective on guys that like she couldn't even.
But she would date a guy and be like, you killed my sister. Like every person she dated, that's crazy.
Like that's so.
That's some scarring, like that's trauma. She's like traumatized for the rest of her
You
life.
know what we need to do is we need to have all the family members that were affected by this. I will give them a very blunt knife and I would let them stab this man as much as possible.
25
But
times.
I'm fair. So I'll have medical attention to patch up his wounds immediately. So the next day he could go through it again.
There you go.
For 30 years, right?
For 30 years until he dies.
What's fucked up is that when he first appeared in court, he denied like killing her.
But it's semen.
You can't deny the
So
deny.
unless she got
How did
stabbed by
you-
somebody else and he just walked over, and then just walked away, I'm pretty sure it's you, dude.
And then like 5 months later, that's when he was like, okay, I am guilty. When they actually started trial, like he was like, okay, I am guilty for this.
Fucking
Like initially, he was like, "What? Seriously? Like you've been caught red-handed."
He went through a whole life. He had a family. He got
Exactly.
to. He just one day decided, you know what? My rape days are over. Let me just be a normal person. Or who knows? Who knows how many other people he fucked up and got away with because
Yeah.
he dumped them in the river or whatever. Motherfucker.
Yeah, because I feel like once you do a crime like this,
It's not like, you know what, I used to go fishing a lot, but I haven't done that in a long time. Those days are over.
Yeah.
He might just want to go fishing just one more time. Fishing meaning rape.
And the justice served is what, just jail for life?
So he's jailed for 22 years, so he's told that he would probably die in prison.
I mean, that's good and all, but I don't feel satisfied.
Yeah.
I feel like these laws just don't fit. When there's some heinous ass crimes, we try too hard to be a civilized society.
What? How old is he now?
He's 64.
Because
Yeah,
because
like,
life
30
in
years.
prison for a man like that doesn't make sense because he got to live life.
yeah, for 30.
exactly.
He's like
And he's already old.
like I'm 70 and now I'm going to
Death
prison. It's kind of
penalty
like
at least.
I had my fun. He had the best years of his life outside of prison. So how is that justice?
And Melanie's mom in court, she saw Christopher's family, and she thought, like, how could you not know that your husband and your father did this for like X amount of years?
Well, how could they?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like to just have them like sit there and just be just as shocked. She's like, and like they even look like Melanie too.
That's who I feel bad for. I feel bad for
I feel bad for the family too.
the family because they're like imagine one day you just find out your dad's a rapist. You're like, what the fuck? I never knew that.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like he really cared if he denied it off top. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised he didn't rape his daughters.
Yeah, and like even when he was getting his DNA swab, the police were saying, you know, usually when people get their DNA swab, like they get really fidgety, but he was just very calm, and he just like stayed calm.
He probably forgot or some shit. 30 years ago?
Or maybe he just accepted it, like, oh, it finally
Like,
caught up to
finally.
me. Because there's people that can't live with the guilt and they just turn themselves in.
Yeah, I mean he already lived his life pretty much, 30 years.
He needs to just go to North Korea,
Oh, that'd be great.
send all of our prisoners to Kim Jong-un.
Hello, Just Kidding News viewers. Thanks for watching that last episode. Guess what? You can also check the link in the description box below, and you can follow all of our social media accounts. So you can follow Gio, Bart, Joe, Julia, David, and myself. You can follow us all, and you can see the links in the description. All right, guys, check out the next video right over here.
Victims on the grounds that it violates their rights to human dignity.
Oh, that makes sense.
I guess everywhere else doesn't have those rules. Like you see it on the news all the time, like people that are murdered or whatnot. They show the photos when they report it.
No,
Like,
not in America.
No, on like
They do that
BBC
in
News or
Mexico.
whatnot. Okay.
Dead bodies on the news in Mexico.
Well, we'll give it to you. You're not from America, so it's all good.
Foreigners don't really know anything.
Yeah, that's why when you said that she took a photo of a fatally injured man, I was like, that's fucked up.